Hi, how's everybody doing? I've been going through some recipes from the Clover at-home boxes, which we did a beta test on last week, and we're launching into the wild next week, so we're getting very close. And I'm trying to focus on some of the items that are brand new to people or might involve a little bit more finesse or prep. So today I'm going to do the kofta. This is something that we developed a kofta recipe maybe 2 years ago, and kofta is like a Middle Eastern meatball, and this is made with impossible. And this is in the Mediterranean box. We have here the chickpea tomato stew, and the quantities here are, this is for a meal for 4 people, so if you got the box for 2 people it would be a little smaller. And I'm just going to walk through how to make this. Basically, this is all ready to heat and serve, and I'm just going to walk through how you may approach that. So the first thing we're going to do is get the chickpea and tomato stew hot. And so this is ready to go just as it is. And I'm just going to put it on the stove top here. And a little trick, instead of like struggling with scraping out all of that, I'm just going to take a little bit of water, not a lot, a little bit of water, quarter cup of water or so. I'm going to put that in there, shake it over the sink because I've had accidents where I do that kind of thing sometimes, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. And now you can see this is all clean and we haven't lost any of the deliciousness there. So this is our chickpea tomato stew right here, and I've got this on a high flame, and we're just going to bring this up to temperature. This will take a couple minutes. So that's happening. The next thing I'm going to do is I have some extra pita bread, and I put this in my freezer. The pita bread is made fresh and it has no preservatives in it, so it's beautiful and fluffy. The day we give it to you, we will probably have baked the night before, so it's going to be hours old. And then the quality of it will degrade over time to a point where it will actually mold and stuff if it's like 3 or 4 days old in hot weather. So what you might want to do is, if you're not going to eat all the pita bread within 3 or 4 days, you might want to throw some of it in the freezer. These were in the freezer, and the pita bread freezes great. The earlier in its life you freeze it, the more delicious it's going to be when you refresh it. So if you know that you're not going to eat some of your pita bread in the next 2 days, I would just throw it right in the freezer directly, and it comes back to life in a really nice way. I'm going to put these in the oven, and I've just got this oven at 350 degrees, and I'm just putting them directly on the rack there. And those will toast up, and we're just going to have those with this. You could have this without the bread too, but I think that will be nice. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, and there are instructions included in each box for all these things, but I'm just walking through them so you can see it in real life. This is the this is a rice pilaf. It's a really beautiful, I mean, almost a meal in itself. It has fresh herbs in there, it has some pumpkin seeds in there, it has some raisins in there, it has some spices, really beautiful. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm just putting this in a heavy pot. And if you had a microwave, you might just nuke this for a little bit, just to warm it up. It's all cooked, so all we're trying to achieve right now is bringing it back to life and just warming it up. So what I did is I just put a little bit of water in there, put a couple of tablespoons of water in there, and now I'm bringing up the temperature, and I'm going to do that until that water that I added starts turning to steam, and then I'm just going to put the lid on that and leave it at a very low heat for a minute or two. And what will happen is that rice will be refreshed in a really beautiful way. So you can't really be making rice fresh, but we're trying to balance like making something that's really delicious with something that's easy for you to make. And I think this is a pretty good compromise. It's going to be almost as delicious as if I've just made it from scratch, but this is going to take me 2 or 3 minutes to warm up instead of an hour or so to make. This now is starting to bubble, and so I'm going to add the kofta there. I'll just get myself a wooden spoon here. I'm just going to move that all around to make sure that heat is distributing nicely. So this is getting hot. You can probably see some steam coming off of it. And we're basically going to use that hot sauce to heat up the kofta. So you can see they look a little bit like large chickpea fritters. We've also been playing with making them in a different shape. So kofta is sometimes made in this shape, and sometimes it's made in a more of like an oblong shape. But whatever you get, they're all cooked and ready to go, but you're going to want to warm them up, and this is the best way to do that. So you just get that chickpea stew hot, and then you can add the kofta, and we're going to serve this over that rice. So now I hear the rice pilaf starting to hiss, and I see some steam coming off it. So it's ready now for me to put that lid on. And what I'm trying to do then is capture a little bit of steam in there. I might even add just a little bit more water. And I'm hearing it hiss because the pan is pretty hot right now, which is great. So it's just turning from water to steam. I'm going to keep that on high for another couple seconds until this is filling with steam. And so if I open it now, the steam's going to escape. So we'll let the steam build up a little bit, and then we're going to turn this down to a very low setting, and we'll leave it at that low setting for a little bit. And that's going to allow all that rice to get to a nice warm temperature. We're taking a peek at the stew, and it's bubbling and boiling now. So it's all up to temperature. You can see it's bubbling and looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that down to low as well. So in a minute, I'm going to pull the rice out, and I'm going to plate that, and I'm going to put a little bit of stew on it. Just going to give it another minute on there. If you have a microwave, I don't have a microwave in my kitchen, but if you have a microwave, you could do all of this in the microwave. These containers we're packaging this in are microwave safe, so you could heat all these things up in a microwave and combine them. I think these are all going to be pretty stable in the microwave. I mean, everybody who has a microwave probably knows this. Some things taste awful coming out of a microwave. Bread is definitely one of those, but these are all going to hold up pretty well. I think they'll probably taste a little bit better if you heat them up stovetop, but the difference is going to be pretty minor. I'm just going to reach into the oven here and check my pita bread, and they're getting warm, but they're not quite done yet. We'll give those another minute or two. And I think my rice is probably ready. So the way we'll serve this, we're getting ready for lunch today. So this will be lunch for our family, and I'll probably serve this sort of family style. We'll probably have this out on a table, and people can serve themselves what they would like. But a bit of this beautiful pilaf right there. And the pilaf's really fragrant. It smells delicious. And if you see, like, this is how you want it to look. Like the rice starts coming apart a little bit, and it's not like a hard clump. So that's good. I was looking to achieve that fluffiness. And now I have the kofta and the chickpea stew, and I'm just gonna put some of that. My cuckoo clock is saying that it's noon right now, I think. And this is it. We have two cuckoo clocks. If you're hearing this in stereo, it's noon twice. They're almost synchronized. So here we have the rice pilaf with kofta and a chickpea stew. And this is a really beautiful meal you can have for lunch or for dinner. And if you want to make up a small amount of it, you can do that. If you want to make all of it at once, you can do that. And like I said, we're probably going to serve this family style, where I'm just going to put these out on the table, and everybody can serve themselves what they would like. Thanks a lot, everybody. We have a bunch more of these coming, which is really fun. There are boxes that are going to come out next week, and I think I'll keep recording little videos of how to make some of the more challenging items. And I think it'll also be really fun to show you some tips and tricks. There are little things you can do with some of these that may be different than the recipe. So we'll keep these videos coming. Thanks so much.